Hello and welcome to this edition of Consciousness Raising Online. Hello, Miss Dre, I see you. And looking for Clyde. As soon as I see Clyde, we can get started. um, what I'm going to do today is give us all the opportunity to maybe see where we came from and perhaps identify some relatives, maybe some of our twins, maybe some of our friends, maybe some of our cousins, by seeing the resemblances and this is very important, by by seeing if something about the cultures of the various nations that we're going to look at, whether they resonate within us. See, one of the challenges we have is by being so mixed up in terms of being brought here and all over the Caribbean and all over South America, and the tribes and nations mixed, we don't know, well, we probably aren't able to define it down to any exact thing. We are now an amalgamation of many different African nations and tribes. That also means many different cultures. But I believe that we still have some amount of cultural identities that certain things resonate within us. For an example, if we look at, say, some clothing, for an example, some styles, in particular African nation styles, African cultures. Some of them we identify with, some of them we instantly feel kinship with, whereas others we don't necessarily feel much towards it. You follow what I'm saying? Um, might even see certain hairstyles that we immediately say, "Oh, I like that," and it resonates within us. And others we say, not so much. It's different cultural things from all the different nations and cultures in Africa that we can uh, look at, feel, and resonate. And my belief is that those that resonate within us are tied to our ancestry. Now, I put this map up here so we can take a second to look at it. And if you notice, okay, now this one deals with origins of 5.3 million in Africans who were kidnapped. I don't like how they say slave ship. No, they weren't slaves when they left. They were Africans uh, of various ethnic groups or nations. All right, but here's an idea. Now, these went supposedly to South America. All right, you notice the largest group is down here from Angola, 67.4%. Right, then the next highest would be from Benin, 17%. Okay, then you have like 5% from Senegambia and 5.7 from Mozambique. Okay, and got some from Ghana. Now, this is just one map that shows just a few points. Okay, but I put that there so we get a better understanding that, first of all, most of us uh, did not come straight to the what's now the United States. And the majority of kidnapped Africans came from or were taken to Brazil. Okay? So now here's what I want to do. I'm going to let some slides play of various people from various nations around Africa. And I just want you to look at them and see if, number one, you see anybody that looks like your relatives, or you see somebody you think looks like you, see something in their styles that you like, and we'll come back to them after we finish this so you can see them more individually. But I just want you to see how you feel towards the people and the styles of dress, etc., that you see. Okay? Now, that was just to give us a taste, but I'm pretty sure that you probably saw either some people that look just like your cousin or your brother or sister, or maybe you or some friends, or and you saw some styles that you liked. Well, let's get rolling because I want to look at some of the main nations that we were stolen from. Okay, I'm going to start with the Fulani. The Fulani, and I put this chart up here so we can see, for an example, uh, that in terms of the Fulani, they from Nigeria, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Cameroon, Senegal, the Gambia, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Sudan, Chad, and Mauritania. Um, but the majority are in Nigeria, Guinea, Mali, and Burkina Faso and Niger. Okay, uh, the Fulani. Now, the Fulani are they basically are believed to have roots going from North Africa and the Middle East all the way up to the Middle East, and intermingle with local West African ethnic groups. Now they are bound together primarily through the Fula language. and also there a lot of them are Muslims. Okay, now a third of, 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 of the fellow people are pastoralists, meaning that they are nomadic in terms of farming and things like that. Farmers, artisans, merchants, and they live mainly in West Africa and northern parts of Central Africa, but also, like I said, Chad, Sudan, and regions near the Red Sea. Now, many Fulani were kidnapped as part of the Atlantic slave trade. They were mostly captured from Senegal and Guinea, and also a significant percentage were taken from Cameroon, but especially Senegal and Guinea. And as I look at these folks, look at them. I mean, it's amazing. Uh, oh, hi, Clyde. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. What'd you say? They all look good to you, and like black folks I've seen in met. Yeah. Well, that's the deal, Clyde. Is that we don't get to do this too often, which is look at the different nations of African people and look at them in terms of the people, in terms of their cultures, the dress and arts and all of that, and see what resonates. See, now it may be that every country we look at, every nation we look at may resonate, but that's because we have been so mixed. But I think it's important that we begin to look at what resonates for us personally so we can have some ways of building some kinship, especially since, Black Panther, the movie, resonated so much with us. Why? Because it gave us a look at an African country that um, we felt, wow, this could have been me, or this could have been us, you know, and we got to see us. So that's why I wanted to do this today. So this is the Fulani people, okay? Now, this next group are the Shamba people. The Shamba people, also known as Samba, Tchamba, Tsamba, Daka, and Chamba Ndegan. Now, they are mostly known for around the Congola state, which is around Nigeria, North Cameroon. They speak two distinct or distinctly related languages, Chambaleko and Chambadaka. Both of them are Niger Congo languages. They also have their own particular religious beliefs known as the Chamba religion. The traditional religion of Chamba is premised on a solar god known as Su, S-U, and the ancestor spirits who live with this creator. The sun god does not interact with living beings, but the ancestor spirits do. The dead are believed to continue living, but they live beneath the ground, follow the same style and sophistication as humans, but they are believed to be wiser and with supernatural power. Special people among the Shamba are believed to be able to interact with these ancestral spirits, and they're revered by the Shamba people. Doesn't that kind of sound like how we are with some of our spiritualities? Yeah, you'll see that we have kinship with these. Okay? We have kinship. Now that's the Shamba people. And this mask that the brother has on, that I've seen that, and it's so deep because as you see the graphics, see there it is wearing it with the costume and everything. That's a deep headgear. It's not a mask, it's a headgear, and it's powerful. Just the energy of it is powerful. You see it right there. It's powerful, ain't it? Okay, that's the Shamba people. Now these are the Wolofs. The Wolofs. Now, the Wolof people are a a West African ethnic group found in northwestern Senegal. They're in Senegal, the Gambia, and southwestern Mauritania. In Senegal, the Wolof is the largest ethnic group. About 40% of Senegalese are Wolofs. And I've been there. I wish I'd known this then. I didn't have any clue. Um, but wonderful, beautiful. I had a beautiful time there. I'll never forget it. Let's look at this map right quick here. Now, this map uh, is actually a language map in a sense, in that if you look at it, let's look at it. Yeah, it should be close enough. Um, as we look at it, you see Senegal, right? Then you see just above the Senegal word, you see just up above it to the right, you see Gambian Wolof, then Wolof, and you see the Gambia. You see Gambian Wolof over here on the left, and up at the top, Gambian Wolofs. So the Wolofs are everywhere, but remember that's the largest ethnic group in Senegal. Now the Mandinka, you see the Mandinkas there too. We'll get to them in a little bit. It's a lot of them too. But the Wolofs are a large ethnic group. Okay. Now, um, the next group I want to look at, oh, the Abran. The Abran. The Abran, or also known as the Bono, and they're part of the Akan people, or Akan, but I say Akan, A-K-A-N people. They speak the Abran language. Now, it's spoken by over 1 million people in central Ghana. Um, and they are credited with being one of the founding groups of Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, the Abran people. Okay, you see Cote d'Ivoire right there next to Ghana, right? Well, the Abran, also part of the Akan people, they are listed as part of the founding group, founding ethnic groups of Ghana. All right. Now, here's a group that I love studying them. The Mande. The Mande people. The Mande is actually a family of ethnic groups in West Africa who speak various Mande languages. They're found in Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Chad, the Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mali, Mauritania, Nigeria, Senegal, and Sierra Leone. Now the Mandi also were part of founding of Ghana and the Mali empires, and they led the expansion of the Songhai Empire across West Africa. Now it's important that we understand that, and look at these brothers and sisters who are the Mande people. And here's what's deeper still. We have all heard of the Mandinkas. Well, the Mandinkas are actually descendants of the Mande people. They're loosely connected with the Mandingo people. And let me show you. Yeah, I mean, look at them. I swear they look like everybody on my block, everybody I grew up with. And they're known, as this graphic shows, they built very intricate buildings there. Yeah, look at that artwork, that work in the building. Okay. Now the Mandinka, which the Europeans mispronounced and called them Mandingos. Okay, and that stuck. And in fact, it's where we get the idea of the Mandingo being this big old brother, right? Big warrior brothers, right? And in fact, there's been, there was the movie Mandingo, and there's this belief that Mandingos men are super endowed. And according to folks who know, they said, nah, they the same as the rest of the African brothers, who are all endowed superiorly. But in fact, there's a famous black porn star named Mandingo. But yeah, see on this map of West Africa that's mapped out, they have Mandingo, but it's actually Mandinka. Mandinka. And there's a Mandingo elder and some Mandingo women. Mandinka or women. Okay. So again, this is another group. Uh, Now, the Mandinka, as I said, also known as Mandingo or Mandinko, uh, estimated global population of about 11 million. And they are the descendants of the Mali Empire. They primarily live in the Gambia and Guinea. And in both of those areas, in the Gambia and Guinea, they are the largest ethnic group, the Mandinka are. Okay? And they also live in Mali, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Liberia, Guinea-Bissau, Niger, and Mauritania. Now, here's one of the deep things about this. As you can see, just from what we've covered so far, the languages and the cultures are so intermixed, and it shows you really how much the Europeans destroyed the boundaries and the nation's borders that they had on their own. You see, these are many different countries that have been slammed up and misconstrued and all of that. And you can tell because of the languages over these different areas. The languages go through different countries. You see, the people are spread out all through these countries, which tells me that at one time these were different countries, dozens of different countries. Okay, we might call them tribes, I'll call them countries or nations. Sometimes we call them ethnic groups, but these are various peoples who shared cultures, languages, and everything until these Europeans got to messing with them. Now, let's look at the Fon. The Fon people, Fon, Fon, is a deep group because when we look at the Fon, primarily in Benin, and what you're going to see in a minute is that they are also a group that's part of the Fon people are the Dahomey. Yeah. They are the largest ethnic group in Benin. They're also found in southwest Nigeria and Togo. Total population estimated to be about 3.5 million people, and they speak the Fon language. The Dahomey Amazons, which they're called Mino in their language, which means our mothers. And you'll see it in a minute. The Dahomey Amazons. See, we didn't call them Amazons, we called them Mino, our mothers. Those are the warrior women known all over the world, and now because of the Dora Milaje in the there they are, the Dora Milaje in Black Panther the movie, they have been given much new exposure. Now, uh, the traditional Fan religion in their areas regionally is called Vodun, Vazu, or Vodou. Okay? Um, does that sound familiar? Well, yeah, because that is what has come to be called voodoo in some cultures. People who don't really understand it, they just lump it all together and say it's all voodoo. The religious practice of the Fan people have four overlapping elements. They have the public gods, personal or private gods, ancestral spirits, and magic or charms. The Fan people have a concept of a female supreme being called Nana Baluku, who gave birth to the Mawu, Lisa, and created the universe. Nana Baluku. After giving birth, the Mother Supreme retired and left everything to Mawu Lisa. That's the moon, sun, female, male deity. The spirits and inert universe. Maulisa created numerous minor imperfect deities, and in the Fan belief, the feminine deity Mawu had to work with the trickster Legba and the snake Aidowedu to create living beings, a method of creation that imbued the good, the bad, and a destiny for every creature, including human beings. See, I know that sounds familiar to some folks who have studied the various spiritualities. Okay? Um, Only by appeasing lesser deities and Legba in Fan theology can one change their destiny. And that appeasing requires rituals and offerings to the lesser gods and ancestral spirits who are believed to have ability to do favors to human beings. Okay? And that's the Fan people where you find the Dahomey. And here's a quick one look at the language map. You see, um, the Fan down there in the purple, and that's the area up there in Benin where they are the largest group. Part of it, part of their community goes over into Nigeria. You see? So again, you have where the languages are showing us perhaps where the original or the boundaries were before the Europeans did it. Now, let's move on to the next group, the Bakongo. The Bakongo. And this one I love because, here, check this out. You see this graphic, and we'll come back to it in a minute, but the Bakongo are a Bantu ethnic group who primarily speak the Congo languages like Kikongo. They have lived on the Atlantic coast of Central Africa, and it was by the 15th century was a centralized and well-organized Congo kingdom, but is now part of 3 countries. The highest concentrations are found in what's now the Republic of Congo, and Angola, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. They're the largest ethnic group in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and over 10 million people. Now, we should understand something. The Portuguese came in there, and that's where the barbarians of the Portuguese, um, in the 15th century, they began to forcibly convert many of the Congolese people to Catholicism, and they started dealing with them in the slave trade. Now, I want to get back to this graphic for a minute. You're going to see this graphic. I put it in there on purpose because it reminded me of Black Panther, the movie, when he first went home and all the people were up on the mountains, right? All right. And you'll see that in a minute. This graphic right here was the son. He was a prince, and he was kidnapped and sold into slavery in Brazil. And if you look up Zumba, that's who he is. Here it is here. See this? Now watch. As you look at it, I'll give you a better shot going up. You see that? The people standing on the mountains and stuff. And everything up at the top. Yeah, ain't that deep? That immediately made me think about Black Panther the movie, because that's a great scene. Okay. Now, one of the things is that the king Mbembe, he wrote letters to the king of Portugal about them snatching their people in the slave raids. Listen. Each day the traitors are kidnapping our people, children of this country, sons of our nobles and vassals, even people of our own family. The corruption and depravity are so widespread that our land is entirely depopulated. We need in this kingdom only priests and school teachers, and no merchandise unless it is wine and flour for mass. It is our wish that this kingdom not be a place for the trade or transport of slaves. Many of our subjects eagerly lust after Portuguese merchandise that your subjects have brought into our domains. To satisfy this inordinate appetite, they seize many of our black free subjects. They sell them after having taken these prisoners to the coast secretly or at night. As soon as the captives are in the hands of white men, they are branded with a red-hot iron. That's from King Mbemba. And, if you know the history of the Congo and what all they did in the Congo, oh, it's outrageous. It's outrageous. And just so you can see where they all fit in, Angola, the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Republic of Congo, Zambia, Namibia, Botswana, they're all in that area. Okay? And yeah, we need to study that some more and see if we see our cousins. Now check this out right quick, because I know you probably heard of capoeira in terms of Brazil, but you need to watch this.
It's a martial art, a dance, a fight, but for these young Angolans, capoeira is above all a way to get in touch with their history. The Portuguese, the first to leave their colonial footprint on Africa, arrived in what is now Angola in the 15th century. By the mid-1800s, as many as 4 million Africans had been captured and shipped across the Atlantic.
Capoeira started as a traditional dance among the African slaves sent to Brazil. For them, it was like a cry for freedom.
Through movement and music, the slaves who spoke different languages were able to communicate. But capoeira was also conceived as a self-defense technique. Performed close to the ground, it combines fluid moves with kicks and sweeps. Capoeira's similarity with Angolan traditional dance and its use of local instruments like the berimbau make it unmistakably African, an empowering fact for these young capoeiristas.
I know capoeira is from here, and now it's practiced around the world, so I'm very proud because it's ours, its roots are here.
Hello?
I'm never going to stop practicing. I'll continue because I love capoeira.
Many people still see capoeira as a Brazilian invention. But this will certainly change as the discipline becomes more and more popular and its true African origins harder to ignore. It's a
Okay. And sorry about that. I didn't realize my mic was still on. Okay. The Igbo, one of my favorite nations, the Igbo. And let's be clear, it is spelled Igbo, the Igbo. And the Igbo people, they are native to the present day South Central and Southeastern Nigeria. And the Igbo homeland geographically is divided into two unequal sections by the Niger River. The eastern part, which is the larger of the two, and the western section. The Igbo people are one of the largest ethnic groups in Africa. 34 million roughly, and 33 million are in Nigeria. And we should understand Nigeria is the 12th largest producer of petroleum in the world and the 8th largest exporter, and has the 10th largest proven reserves, which is why there are so many Nigerians here and why the United States has such a stranglehold and European period on Nigeria, which is the largest country in Africa besides South Africa, that's not really a country to me. That's a theft. that's several countries held hostage. Okay, check this out. Let's look at this map for a minute. This is a linguistic map, so we can see how this plays out. Okay, you see the Hosa and Fulani up at the top. You see the Yoruba down here in the left corner, left bottom corner, the Yoruba. The Igbo is right there in the center at the bottom. Okay. Again, when you look at the languages and the groupings of cultures, you realize these were nations. They weren't all, they weren't slammed all up together. These were nations. Okay? So, all right, let's move on to the Yoruba. The Yoruba. And the Yoruba has made a strong impact on us here when it comes to our spirituality, things like that. The Yoruba, over 40 million people are part of the Yoruba people. And the majority of that population is in Nigeria. And the Yoruba make up 21% of Nigeria's population, one of the largest ethnic groups in Africa. The majority of the Yoruba speak the Yoruba language. Uh, Now, the Yoruba diaspora consists of two main groupings. One of them includes relatively recent migrants. The majority moved to the United Kingdom and the United States after major political changes, economic changes in the 60s to the 80s. The other is a much older population dating back to the Atlantic slave trade. This older group of Yoruba has communities in Cuba, Dominican Republic, Venezuela, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Brazil, Grenada, and Trinidad and Tobago, among others. But that's why you see certain things. Look at the culture, look at the dress, look at the fashions. And you see that in all these different countries. That's because they do follow where the folks were snatched from and taken to. Now, the Yoruba, they're among the most urbanized people in Africa. Now, centuries before the arrival of the British, most Yoruba already lived in well-structured urban centers. This is important. They were organized around city-states, powerful city-states, with high walls and gates. And in ancient times, most of these cities were fortresses. Yoruba cities have always been among the most populous in Africa. Today, Lagos, which is a major Yoruba city, has a population of over 20 million people. It remains the largest on the African continent. And the Yoruba faith, variously called the Abarisha, the Orisha Ifa, is one of the principal components of African traditional languages, religions, or spiritual practices, which I know quite a few of us here at Desti and other parts of the country. We have folks that deal with the um, Yoruba cultures. See, so if it resonates within you, it's probably because there was some connection going back to before we came here. Okay? So, all right, the last group, and this is my favorite too, one of my favorites. This last group is the Mbundu. The Mbundu. Now, I want to be clear about the Mbundu, also sometimes called the Ambundu, but it's Mbundu. They're Bantu people living in Angola's northwest, north of the river Kwanzaa. Yeah, Kwanza, just one A, the river Kwanzaa. This is also where Nzinga became queen of Ndongo and Matamba. She negotiated a peace treaty with the Portuguese, and they came back off of that. You know how they are. And she had to flee from Portuguese troops to Matamba. Matamba was a kingdom that was traditionally led by women, and she turned it into the most powerful state in the whole region. Now, their society has always been the Mbundu society has always been matrilineal. Land was inherited matrilineally, and the descent system was matrilineal as well. Boys used to be sent to live in the villages with their maternal uncles so as to preserve a matrilinear cord to the village. We need to study that some more because there may be some advantages to that. Okay? And Nzinga being such a powerful character, I'm going to play these. It's 2 short excerpts. It's from a film that was done back a few years ago about Nzinga, and it just inspires me when I see it, because she was bad. And so I'm gonna run that and basically close out. Just in case they come behind me after we've done this and they want to snatch, they want to attack this class because of the Nzinga clips, is why I'm putting them on last, so that if they do try to mess with it, I'll just take it out at the end. But I do want you to be able to see this because it's just so cool. And then we'll close out with, of course, no justice, no peace, no love, KNOW.
Tanto mal e desgraça tem de morrer, Tendala. Por esse corpo e esse sangue que são minha força. Eu lhes dou força a todos. Eu vou dar luta aos meus inimigos até a eternidade. Mesmo quando o meu corpo morrer, meu espírito continuará vivo nesse chão. Para dar confronto a todos os invasores e traidores. Não vou perdoar mais a vida a nenhum português. E os Mbundo não vão mais prestar vassalagem a um rei fantoche.
Tetos Luca que funge.
Calma, Cambo!
Angola, o nosso pai está morto.
O papá morreu pelo chão de um dongo. Honrou o sangue dos nossos antepassados.
Acha que eles podem me trair?
Acho que só um herdeiro deve continuar vivo. E os umbigos dos outros devem ser todos enterrados no chão.
Mbandi não tem força nem inteligência para vencer a guerra contra os portugueses. Eu vou lá estar para defender o meu povo quando Mbandi cair. Fala só, Mbandi. Que pedido é esse?
Preciso que vás a Luanda tratar a paz com os Mundele.
M. Eu?
Sim. Tu és a Mucuz de Angola, Ginga. Nosso pai teria escolhido a ti para esta missão.
O reino do Ndongo é soberano. Não pode ser vassalo de outro. O Ndongo Xiame, nossa terra, a herança dos nossos antepassados. Eu lhe honro e lhe respeito e vou lutar por ela até vencer.
Manda lá aí, Maiai. Para que me queres aqui, Ginga?
Para desprender o nosso desejo.
Pelo poder que me é dado por El Rei de Portugal, declaro essa Ginga como a principal inimiga do reino português. Reúna todas as tropas que conseguir e marche contra ela. Quero a cabeça de Ginga.
Eu vou entregar-lhe uma salva de prata.
Os portugueses me traíram, me perseguiram, roubaram o nosso chão.
E nossa irmã? Ela estava lá a escutar para nos informar.
A guerra só nos tem prejudicado. As peças de escravos diminuíram. Nós não conseguimos encher as caravelas para enviar para o Brasil.
Qual é a proposta?
Nós não vos atacamos e vocês não nos atacam.
Mas para podermos honrar esse trato, vamos ter de eliminar a Ginga.
Façam com Ginga o que quiserem.
Eu vou dar luta aos meus inimigos até a eternidade. Não vou perdoar mais a vida a nenhum português.
O que é isso?
Mas que modos são esses com a princesa?
Os portugueses empurraram Ginga para fora do trono de Ndongo, mas os espíritos estão com ela. O trono pertence a Ginga. Nenhum vivo, nenhum morto pode nada contra isso.
Assassinos! É tudo.